Hello and a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for staying here on the AM show with me, Bernice Abubedu-Lansa. It's now time for us to have that conversation about Golden Star Wassa Limited shutting down its operations at the Benso operational site in the Takwa Insai municipality. You may recall that some galamseyers went to their site, torching portions of it, destroying property, destroying vehicles. Well, this is the decision that the management has reached, and this morning we're trying to get more information and explore the impact, both financially and socially, to us as a people. And I've been joined by Gerard Boakye. He's Group Corporate Head, Golden Star Wassa Limited. We also have Suleiman Akoni, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, and Richard Elima, Executive Director, Center for Social Impact Studies. So to set the tone for the conversation, let me start with you, Mr. Boakye, and good morning to you. Thank you for joining the program. Just a quick update on that incident, unfortunate one, I must say. We understand that some arrests have been made. Are you able to confirm that to us? All right, I'm told that we're still trying to get Mr. Gerard Boakye off the line. But, okay, quickly, let me take your thoughts on this. Mr. Connie, as CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, this must be very troubling for you, obviously, because there is some financial cost to it. This is not the first mining site that galamseyers have allegedly attacked or tried to seize forcefully. What are your general concerns about this? Mr. Connie, kindly unmute your device. Great, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Fantastic. Thank you very much for the opportunity to engage on this important and yet sensitive matter. Security for the industry is practically everything. Without the peace of mind, you cannot continue to mine. And that's one of the key challenges that the mining industry has in the recent years. So it is not an isolated case, as you intimated. We are getting very concerned about the increasing spate of encroachments, violent attacks on Ghanaians, expatriates, and property of mining companies. We would continue to work with government, state institutions to help us with security. But I think it's now getting out of hand. And we don't want to be seen to be alarmist, but if you consider what is happening within the sub-region, I don't want to mention names of countries, which have been so attacked by miscreants, by terrorists, to the extent that mines have actually been closed down, not one, not two, not three. We don't want to get to that position. That's why we are calling on duty bearers. Please, we need help. The mining industry is important for all of us. The resources belong to the state. The state is a shareholder in the endeavor. The state should show interest, serious interest in proactively. We've had enough of the reactive approaches to security. I think what we need now is proactive. Let's put our best foot forward to protect the national asset. It is so critical that we get this done. It's becoming a nightmare. Practically all the mines are on the edge, and it is not good for business.
Mr. Connie, what for you will be that proactive measure taken by relevant authorities, i.e. state agencies, government?
The reality is that we've had the collaboration of the state, and I will want to commend the state for this, but we need optimum security. We want our best foot forward. Let's put our best foot forward. We have tried in the past military. Military presence really helped us. We never had semblance of any of these incidents on the mines when you had the military there. For one reason or the other, the military were withdrawn thanks to our current minister, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. When he assumed the reins of the ministry, he arranged for the police to be deployed, while the police have actually done their very best. We think we need a lot more in terms of numbers, as well as in terms of the caliber of police. We've been speaking about the FPU, that's the Foreign Police Unit, and addition, we also speak about the military, how to bring the military back, because obviously the capacity of the police as currently deployed obviously is not adequate to resolve and address the security challenges we have on the mines.
It's interesting your call for the military's return to these mining sites, but earlier in your submission you admitted that this is not a case in isolation, but quite recently you're seeing too much of it. What do you suspect to be the cause of these recent happenings?
I think they are just being emboldened. That's about it, because it happens and then the investigations, and there are no serious outcomes to these investigations. Naturally, people will be emboldened. And we are so worried that even as we get into an election cycle, as we speak from now towards the end of the year and then into next year, we are going to have a serious upset of these encroachments and attacks on the mining industry. And I think it's important that we get government to work with us to improve the state of security, as I have said earlier on.
We've been very prudent in our coverage on government's anti-galamsey fight. We've done reports of how people's cocoa farms have been taken over allegedly by galamseyers. Do you feel that the crackdown on these persons and their activities may be what is pushing these illegal miners to now demand for a share in legal concessions owned by legal companies like what we saw in Tarkwa?
Well, the reality is this, that there are rules around mining. So if an individual or an organization or a group of people want to mine, they have to go through the right processes, working through the Minerals Commission and our sector minister to get their bona fide concessions to mine. That's what everybody is expected to do, whether an individual, whether it's a foreign company, whether it's a local company. So nobody bars anybody from mining. The reality is that you need to find the ore body, and that is through exploration. And mining companies continue to devote so much money into exploration. That is the only way you can sustain the business. So it's untenable to think that a mining company would spend so much money, explore and delineate its ore body, only to give it out to someone who has not invested. It doesn't work like that, especially when the ore body is within its life of mine. So you have bought equipment, you have invested heavily, and your plans are around these resources that you have been able to delineate. I think it is improper to even make that request, unless the company decides voluntarily that they want to relinquish it back to the state as the law provides. But we expect that companies, especially like I have said, when it's in the life of the mine, as part of the life of the mine. So all we are asking for is that government should assist these individuals who want to mine to get their concessions. I think that it's as simple as that, but not to expect that companies would actually parcel out and give their resources to individuals to actually to mine. It doesn't work like that.
Mr. Kone, I'll ask you to hold on just for about 10 minutes for me. Let me engage Mr. Boakye and get a quick update on how the company is faring after this incident. Good morning to you once again. Hello, ma'am. Hello, Gerard?
Hi, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, good morning. Can you hear me, please?
Hi, yes, I can hear you. Thank you for joining us. Gerard is Group Corporate Head of Golden Star Wassa Limited. We understand there have been some arrests. Are you able to tell us what you know about that?
Well, there were, yeah, there has been some arrests, and they were prepared and taken to the magistrate court in Tarkwa. They have been remanded for 2 weeks, so I think somewhere in April, we're going back to the court.
Mr. Boakye, what's the cost to the company as this site of yours remains closed? How much are you losing daily? Hello? Too bad. We've lost Gerard there. I realized there was a bit of a problem with his line when it started breaking. We'll try and establish a better connection with him. But let me bring in Richard Elima, Executive Director, Center for Social Impact Studies. Good morning to you, sir. At the heart of this is a group of people who feel that they deserve a share in what's happening on their piece of land. In many of these situations, you realize that people say, well, we are natives of the land, we deserve something. With this particular case, we understand that there was some encroachment on the site of Golden Star Wassa Limited. I know that in some places and for some companies here, they've encouraged local participation to try and address some of these issues. But from where you sit largely, how do we solve this problem? And is there any end in sight soon?
Well, thank you very much. I think the issue has to do with government's own ability to address the challenges in the small-scale mining sector. We've made this point clear that apart from being described as illegal, we need to also admit the fact that there are genuine people within the community who need a concession to also mine. I mean, there are community people who are well-resourced with the capital and other equipment, machinery to also do mining. So it is up to the state to help these individuals to have access to concession. There are laws in this country, and there are laws that regulate how one gets concession. The Minerals and Mining Act is very clear on it. You just apply, and then you go through the processes with the Minerals Commission, and then you get the concession. So if these individuals within the community need concessions, they need to dialogue with the government. It has nothing to do with the company. The company may have its own concession, probably much larger than the community people think it should have. But it is a matter of law. Let's go through the legal processes to acquire concessions for the community so that we can have a legally, environmentally friendly small-scale mining that will be thriving alongside these large-scale mining companies. The incidents that happened at the Golden Star Resources is just despicable. It's something that shouldn't even happen in the first place. We need to find a solution to it because it doesn't serve any purpose. It will not advance the cause of these small-scale miners, and neither will it also help the large-scale mines. So at the end of the day, it is up to the government to streamline this whole process of license acquisition so that the people can get their own license and operate as mining companies.
Mr. Lima, we've seen this play out in different parts of the world, and Mr. Connie made reference to that, where terrorists, extremists, persons with ulterior motives take advantage of some of these concerns that you have said may be genuine to perpetrate crime, okay? So here in Ghana, whenever the issue of illegal mining pops up, the biggest concern is unemployment. So you have a lot of young people who have nothing to do. They get involved in illegal mining. They realize that it's good business for them, and they want to stay in there, and they want to succeed. So how do you incorporate, how do you bring on board these young people? Because clearly in this case, if there were no illegal miners, there would be no encroachment and there would be no attacks. So holistically and in a multifaceted manner, how do we deal with the problem?
It starts with identifying these various categories of people. So number one, there are young people in the community, as you have already alluded to. Young people, school dropouts, graduates who are unemployed. And they, for some reason or the other, they cannot also be employed in the mining company. And these are people who are desirous, who desire to do mining. So how do we address their needs? That is number one. Number two, there are also business people within the community who want to do mining as a business, just like we have Golden Star Resources as a business doing its own mining business. So let's identify this as well. And once you're able to categorize these different forms of interest, stakeholders in the small-scale mining sector, then government can then design appropriate responses to these needs. But as it is, now we have a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. We have the use of soldiers to flush out, so to speak, flush out these illegal miners from large-scale mining concessions. We also have alternative livelihood programs, interventions, like the planting of coconuts and palms and so on. That is also going on there. But the question we ask ourselves is, to what extent have these interventions helped to address the challenges of these small-scale miners? From where I sit and the little research that we have done, these interventions have largely failed. They haven't succeeded. I mean, if these various operations, Operation Vanguard and Operation whatever it is, have succeeded, I'm not sure we'll be talking about illegal mining right now. So again, I will say that let's get to the drawing board.
Hello.
Let's find a holistic solution to the problem of illegal mining.
Right.
Large-scale miners have their concession. They have acquired their concession. It's gone through the legal process. They are doing their mining. Let them mine in peace. If community people are also interested in mining, let us also give them their own concession. Let them go through the process, acquire the license, and then also do their mining.
Mr. Elema, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm sorry to interject, but when you say community members should also find their own concession, you know the processes that are involved, there's money and all. I'll come to you for your concluding thoughts. We've been able to establish a better line with Mr. Gerard Boakye. Sorry we lost you there. Gerard, I was finding out from you what it will cost, or what is costing your company to close your mines, and how long do you intend to close it for?
Okay, it's not. I wish I could say that we intend to close it. We don't intend to keep it closed for a long time, but circumstances surrounding recovering. Please, do you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, so circumstances surrounding recovering and restoring our operations is what is challenging and quite prevented. Initially, I think that security forces and security agencies have been able to conclude, and I hope that cleanup will start. But the point is, even restoring just the vehicles is time. We don't manufacture screens and engines in this country. We have to order them. We order them at the current cost. You know, that's very prohibitive, which we didn't budget for. We budgeted for maintenance and depreciation and all those things, but not this, okay? So that alone is prohibitive. That another cost to us is that we contribute to national plans, national statutory payments. That is going to be affected. And people that we've employed, people that we have trained will may have to be at home for as long as we're waiting to start these operations. So off the top of my head, physical costs, we're running into millions of dollars, close to 30, okay? And we haven't even recovered what we have already put in from last year. We haven't even recovered 50% of that, much more say, oh, we'll just put in back what we've recovered. No, it's set us back. And I mean, finally, we just have to wait and see all these plans that we've been making. There are other things that are really difficult to recover. Mr. Sule Kony, thanks for the chamber condemning this act, and we've been waiting for comfort and words like that, so I thank him. But he mentioned that drilling is the future of most mines. Our core shed, which holds our samples, have been destroyed. So we have samples of drilling activities that we've done, which we have to go back and rebuild again. So probably when we start operations, we're just going to go business as usual. But the things that determine the future of our...
Mr. Boakye?
Because we don't have them, and we have to deliver again.
Let me just do this quickly, because it appears the longer you stay, the dodgier the line gets. Prior to this incident, what was the relationship between your company and indigents of the area? And had there been any simmering tension, or this just took you by surprise?
Well, it took us by surprise, but that does not mean that we even had a bad relationship with the community. I mean, I knew we have a very good working relationship with the community from where I sit. We have community affairs program where we meet. The day before, we had one of such meetings with the paramount chief, with the sub chief, with the Queen Mother. But the Queen Mother also confirmed when we went to site yesterday that they have a perfect and a very promising future with the company, and they saw the future very promising. You see, until this, I don't want to mix up. The last speaker said something about the youth, the youth, the youth. I do not want to mix up the youth in this. I don't think the youth of Benso were largely involved in this. We call a spade a spade. During our engagement, we saw illegal miners. Some of them were illegal settlers. Some of them were
Okay.
foreign settlers. So sorry. It has nothing to do with our relationship with the community. It was perfect.
Interesting. So what's happening to your concession now? You say that you have shut down operations, but how are you protecting the concession, which is at the heart of all of this?
With our bare hands, with our private security, and we do surveillance and intelligence, and we report and keep patrolling. We also have some police at Benso for our operations. The officers that have been vandalized and violated, I would call it terrorists, because until you go there physically, you don't understand the depth of distraction there. But we have some police helping us. We're still engaging and hoping that the regional security, they left there yesterday, would do us some good and provide us some support through the military and all that.
Okay, so you're also requesting for the military to be brought back to the sites to protect your concession?
Yes, madam. I mean, think of it. Whatever we're doing there might be like benefiting only the company. No, we talked about the G4O, the Gold for Oil program, and other things. It is benefiting state program as well. So definitely, if we legitimately have acquired these concessions, we have acquired our permits, we have acquired all whatever it is, health and safety programs, and is in place, and we cannot mine in peace, and our police cannot only be the only people to help us. Definitely, we need support. I would say the next support we need is a joint military, and we've had it before. It's not like we're asking for something out of the roof. We've had it before. We've had a relationship with the Ministry of Defense before. We've had MOUs signed up through the Chamber of Mines, and at our cost, mind you.
Right. Mr. Connie, you are with the Chamber of Mines, and Mr. Boachi just said that he's happy to hear from you and that they were expecting some comforting words. I'm glad it happened on our show this morning. But finally for you, while we work at reaching a long-term solution, beyond bringing the military to protect the mines of some of your members, what should be done? What do you think people need to appreciate and understand for the mining industry to thrive, and also for local participation, which may help, as some have suggested, in dealing with these problems? Hello, Mr. Connie, you'd have to unmute your device.
Goodness. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I think at the heart of this is engagement and sensitization. And Gerald mentioned the endeavors of mining companies in engaging with their host communities. You have dedicated personnel, dedicated departments whose remit is to be engaging intimately with communities. So they continue to do their part. What is required over and above that is duty bearers, traditional authority. How do they engage with the community so that they appreciate and understand that their fortunes are tied to that of the mines? Gerald talked about laying off staff. And who are the staff? The staff generally will come from the community. Some cases, more than 90% are coming from the community. And therefore, it is important that the people in the community see the mining operations as part of their own interest. What can they do to partner with the companies going forward? It is so critical that they even provide the first line of security. Gerald spoke about intelligence. What kind of intelligence do they provide to the mines on a regular basis, so that when there are skirmishes, when there are plans about invasions like this, and planned distractions like this, they would filter this information to the mining companies so that they can work with the state security to proactively prevent, such incursions. So at the heart of this, like I have said, both at the local level and the national level, and we continue to contribute so much to the endeavors of the state. Gerald spoke about the Go for Oil program, and there are so many other programs we have been engaging with the Ministry of Finance, our sector ministry. What can we do over and above our legal requirements, the statutory requirements, especially in these difficult circumstances of our country?
Finally, from you,
And
Mr.
And these engagements go right up to the principals of these mining companies. If you have a situation where all the mining companies are on the edge because of security, Golden Star, AngloGold Ashanti, Goldfields, Azuma Resources, just a handful of companies are not on the edge in terms of security. If they go back to their principals to seek approvals to do things over and above their legal and statutory requirements for the state, what do you think the response will be like? So we need the support of each and every one of us to really help the mining industry, because it serves our interest. First and foremost, it is our asset. The companies are here at our pleasure. We
Mr.
invited them.
Sorry, but did I hear you talk about how this will affect government Go for Oil policy? Because once you're on the edge, it means that you're not likely to mine, you're not likely to get the required amount of gold that government will need.
No, but Gerald painted it. If you are not producing naturally, you cannot give what you don't have. So if a company is not producing, in the case of Golden Star, for example, and they have plans to give a portion of their production to governments for the Go for Oil program, naturally, whatever they had planned to present to government will not be realized. And that goes for other companies as well. So I think it's important that we have the bigger picture, in front of us, to say that this is a sector, this is an industry which bends over backwards to support, especially in this critical time.
I appreciate your time this morning. Suleiman Akoni, CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, and I just needed to establish that more because of his position and caliber. But earlier you heard Gerard Boakye, Group Corporate Head, Golden Star Wassa Limited, telling us exactly how much this will cost the company, some $30 million, he says, off the top of his head, could be more, to try and deal with this situation, not talk about the impact to jobs and livelihoods. Richard Elima is Executive Director, Center for Social Impact Studies. Apologies, I couldn't come back to you. We've just run out of time on this. We'll come back quickly for more here on the AM show as we discuss Founders Day for Achimota School.